Welcome back to the DPS Education Podcast, the place where we share stories, ideas, and resources to help every learner thrive. I'm your host, Javier Ibarra, and today we're diving into opportunities for our educators who want to take the next step in their careers. We're joined today by Dr. O'Neill from CSU Global, the CSU system's fully online university. They offer flexible teacher and principal licensure programs designed for today's busy professionals. Dr. O'Neill, thanks for being here to kick things off. Can you tell us a little bit about CSU Global and what makes it unique?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I think CSU Global is an amazing university because it's so flexible. And that's something that our students, educators, and students, every student from every walk of life, really appreciates and values. It's flexible because we offer starts anytime, every single month you can start, whereas it's not a semester start. It's highly flexible as far as how you choose to take your programming because we offer 8-week terms rather than big long semesters. It's highly flexible with even taking a little bit of time off. If you just need a little bit of a short break, super flexible. That's one of the value adds of CSU Global.
I have to admit, I knew a lot about CSU Global coming into this interview because I myself am a student at CSU Global. I'm getting my master's degree in organizational leadership.
Love that.
Yes.
Love that.
So we're going to tie that into it. I'm going to try not to be too promoting, but I am super proud and super impressed of how easy the CSU Global system has made it in order for me to obtain my degree, but also working a full-time job, which is what we're here to talk about. So let's get into it. Many educators dream of stepping into leadership roles, becoming principal, or higher up. And so what are some of the pathways that CSU Global offers to help teachers take that next step into their careers?
Absolutely. We offer a multitude of pathways. The biggest one is kind of our Masters of Science in Teaching and Learning, and that's one of the ways that you can create a career ladder for our teacher leaders, that particularly you can focus on really honing your skills as a leader within your community, your school community, but you can also specialize in things. You can specialize in teacher leadership. You can specialize in innovation and online learning. And then the other options that you have is principal leadership. And principal leadership isn't just for those who want to be a principal no matter what. Principal leadership is about policy. It's about implementation. It's about ensuring that you have strong systems in place for your educators. And then we also have concurrent enrollment opportunities. So not only can our teachers take their master's degree, but they can also do concurrent enrollment, meaning that they can really expand their offerings to make sure that they can teach high school and they can teach college courses. And that really helps them increase their opportunity to make influence, but also really help kids thrive, not just in high school, but well beyond high school.
What an amazing opportunity for teachers to look into, because it really helps them broaden the range, right? You can have your general degree, teacher licensure, what have you, but then you can get into your specializations on things that you actually want to improve on in our education system, which I think is what would make our teachers very unique here at DPS.
Absolutely. I completely agree. It allows you to really fine-tune the skills that you want to share with your students in the real world today, not the skills that we needed 5 years ago. It's the skills we need today and what we're going to need 10 years from now.
So
we focus on
the future.
Absolutely. Looking into the future, thinking about how AI is going to impact that.
Huge.
Big. Thinking about how our technology writ large is going to influence education and kind of that personalization around education, and that's what we really focus on to make sure teachers have that opportunity.
Dr. Neal, I want to know, teachers already juggle so much in their daily life. How does CSU Global and their program fit into the busy life of a full-time educator?
Flexibility is the key. You have to be able to, educators, we all work from 7 in the morning until 7 at night. And you have to be able to kind of get into your courses get that quick hit of learning and be able to come out. And then maybe on the weekends you get a little bit deeper. And that's really where CSU Global shines, is allowing that flexibility. We are the only 100% asynchronous university in Colorado. And I think that's the key.
Yeah.
The key is that completely online, and you don't have to be online with your other cohort members. So you don't have to be online with your instructor. You don't have to be online with everybody else. You can choose to do that. You can absolutely choose to do that. And sometimes that's an optional opportunity. But here what it means is we're asynchronous, so we're not online at the same time. That allows the ultimate flexibility for our learners. If they've got an hour in the day, then they can jump in and they can get, that snippet of learning and be able to move on. And I think that's key.
Well, and I'm glad you said that. So for me, and I'll share my experience because I think it's important for people to see what it's like. I'm a real student at CSU Global. I start doing my homework in the morning, right? So I'll work out. We'll do it on the treadmill, and then I'll start doing my readings or the videos that I need to do, right? And then when I have an opportunity at night, after I've settled in, then we start writing, right? A lot of writing. It's a master's program. And then we'll get into our discussion posts, which is really interesting to me because those discussion posts have a real life application on top of being on theory, right? One of them, for me, because I'm in org leadership, was would you hire your best friend? Discuss why or why not, right? And we had a wonderful discussion post around that, right? It was based on research. It was based on what other folks are doing, other leaders, right? Find a leader and see if they would, right? And so I posed that question to my leadership here at DPS, and just the conversations that we're able to spark from that. And that's the enrichment that you're getting. And it's very thoughtful. I think everything about it is super thoughtful.
Yeah, and I'll double down on that and love to hear that for a multitude of reasons. One, schools change so fast, and we know that there's a lot of flexibility that has to happen there, but the working industry changes so fast, and if you can't kind of backwards map your way into what the focus is in the real world, and that's one of the things CSU Global really thrives on, is making sure that all of our work is about what you're doing today, what you want to do today, what you're doing tomorrow, making sure there's a real world application, and thinking those things through and having those thought partners in your colleagues through the discussions to really double down on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My next question for you, and you kind of touched on this already, but we hear a lot from teachers here in Denver Public Schools, the need for flexibility. And so how does CSU Global make advancing education accessible while still working in our schools, right? What is the thought process? Because we talked about flexibility. Why does CSU Global operate this way?
Absolutely. We do it because we know that it's a need. We know that it meets people's needs. We want everyone, especially our educators, right? This is the profession upon which all others are built. Teaching is the profession upon which all others are built.
Wow.
We want every educator to thrive. We want them to have the best opportunity to make a change, not only in their own life, but also in the lives of those that they teach. And so we want to be that hyper flexible university that still has this deep quality content, and it still really hits the needs for educators. And helps them grow themselves as well as what they serve, and they help support students. We do it because we really want to invest in the educational system. We want to invest in our educators, and we want them to be able to have the time to invest in themselves. That's why we offer all the flexibility that we do.
Now is a good time to mention, I believe that there is a partnership between CSU Global and Denver Public Schools. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely, I would love to talk about that because we have a partnership in place that allows not just the flexibility for our students to do that, but it's also at a significantly reduced rate. So at the $350 credit unit rate, our teachers can get their master's degree or their principal licensure, and then at $335 a credit union, they can get their concurrent enrollment. This allows just open doors, right? It opens all those doors. It gives them opportunities to do that. In addition to that, then we also utilize them to bring in and give us good ideas about what they need next. And so when we think about that relationship, it's a really collaborative relationship because we can reach out to our Denver Public School educators educators and also say, what else do you need? Do you need more around AI? We've heard that. Like, we need some different tracks as we think about innovation and technology, and our masters about those tracks. So we're there to support our teachers. We love that relationship, and we're really very proud of it, and we're proud of the teachers in DPS.
I think something that CSU Global is doing very unique is leaning into AI versus other universities, right? I think that I got an email just recently on how now we have access to Google Gemini in order to supplement what you're doing, right? And so, and we run off the Google system here at DPS, and so it just it's a way for us to enrich what we're already doing with AI while still learning, while still having the work be your own work, right? Which is very important. Now, Dr. O'Neill, you touched on this, and this is kind of a follow-up question. You opened up the door for talk around financials, right? You mentioned the credit units. I want to know, is because if I was a prospective teacher or principal looking for something in higher education, are there other fees associated with it? You know how it's like a car salesman. They always get you. Here's the price of the car, but what are the other fees?
I know. We are unlike every other university, which is amazing and wonderful. And it's one of the things that I love about us is that we don't charge those fees because we are a 100% online university. What you are charged is the fee for your credit union. There are no student fees. There are no athletic fees. There are no, additional fees that go for food services or additional fees for groundskeeping, because we are 100% online. And I think that is transparency in the fee process, and that really helps our students and our learners. We don't have that kind of money as educators to make sure, although we should, we don't have that kind of money to add to all of the additional fees. So our fee is exactly what our credit hour fee is.
So you're helping teachers by making sure that it's flexible and it fits their time schedule, and then you're helping them financially by reducing or eliminating, essentially, right? Eliminating the fees that don't apply to them, where in a traditional university setting you would be paying those fees.
Absolutely.
Dr. O'Neill, my next question for you is, so schools are changing quickly, right? We know this. CSU is Global is changing. Our schools are changing. Technology and student needs, right? And so how does your licensure program prepare our teachers for the future principals and all of these realities? Absolutely.
I think one of the biggest ways we do that is making sure that all of the work aligns to what they're doing today and where we need to go in education. We'd like to be on the cutting edge of that and on the front of that innovation rather than on the back. So in many ways, as we think about our assignments and we even think about the ways that we're preparing our leaders, we're listening to them too. We're listening to their experiences in their schools, and we're making those changes very quickly right off the front so that we can ensure that those leaders are really thinking about, okay, what happens with, how does AI affect our schools as a whole? How does it affect the opportunities and some of the drawbacks? What do we need to think about within that? How can we think about it from a personalization of education perspective? And so we really work hard to make sure that our principal licensure program and our Masters of Science in Teaching and Learning programs reflect the realities of today in the classroom, help with personalization, classroom management, differentiation, equity in education, thinking about how we're sure that we have linguistically diverse educators and our educators represent our student population. And then we're also thinking about how we're applying all those innovations, not just again today, but tomorrow. And that's most important for our teachers to learn and our principals to know as they start to manage their own schools.
It sounds like it's a very thoughtful process. It sounds like it's a very intentional process, which is what we're here to do at DPS, right? Because when we have the right supports for our teachers, for our principals, we have the right supports for our students. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I could not agree more. And that's part of, this is not, we don't become educators, and we don't at CSU Global want people to grow unless they are growing on behalf of themselves and those that they serve. We want every student to thrive, and we want to create the environments to be able to do that.
That's literally our tagline.
Love it. Love it.
Dr. O'Neill, what are some of the options that CSU Global provides to make graduate level programs more affordable for educators? You kind of touched on this, but here's an opportunity to really speak on it.
Absolutely. I think there's a couple of different options. One, we have student counselors that really help individuals identify what their financial means are, where it can go, what other options they have, what kind of resources they have there. But we also allow flexibility in pay. Like you can pay 50% up front to get into class, and then 30 days later you can pay the other 50%. So it allows some flexibility in that. We won't withdraw you in those 30 days if you haven't paid. We're going to give you every chance to do that, and we're going to come right back and say, how can we help you if you're struggling? And I think that's one of the things that we offer that not everybody offers all the time, is we want to really make sure that you have the financial means and opportunity, and we give you that support too.
When I was looking at prospective schools in order to earn my master's, that was one of the things that I really gravitated towards from CSU Global, which was the flexibility to, one, learn on your own and on your own time, but also with the financial part, which could be a barrier for a lot of our teachers, and it's important to address that. So I'm happy to hear that CSU Global has definitely addressed that in order to make education more affordable and really equitable. If we're talking about that, right? That's as equitable as we can get. Dr. O'Neill, at the end of the day, the goal of our teachers and principals is to help prepare them for better outcomes for students, right? How do the programs that you have at CSU Global translate into real benefits for our kids in the classroom specifically?
I think some of the biggest benefits are the fact that we want every teacher to understand and know how to work with every single student in our educational system, period. So we really want to talk about how our teachers and the learning that they have and the ways they apply that in the classroom work for every student. And that means that we have linguistically diverse courses that think about how are we meeting every student's need as they bring in the amazing multilingual learning that they bring to us. We want to talk about socioeconomic background and how that influences and affects. You just talked about how equity is around pay. Like, how can we pay for things and the money? And we want to talk about those things too. How do you create a system as a principal to make sure that every kid, every student in your school feels like they belong, feels like they have opportunity there, and that you are reducing any of the barriers, whether that's from a disciplinary perspective or whether that's from an accessibility perspective for after-school activities. And so we talk about a lot of those things to ensure that all of our students can truly thrive.
Dr. O'Neill, there are a lot of programs out there. What makes CSU Global's teacher and principal licensure program stand out? We've touched on this, we've kind of played around with it a little bit. How does it stand out?
I'm going to say, first of all, it's about the learner. It's about that teacher. It's about their journey. And you can customize that journey a lot as you go through our program.
Which is huge.
It's huge. You want, as a teacher, to give to students the kind of learning that you're getting on top of it.
Right.
And so we want that learning to be strong. We want it to be personalized to where they're going. We want it to resonate with them. We want it to be applicable. Those are the things that really set CSU Global apart there, in addition to all of the flexibility that we offer in coming into our courses. The on-the-job work, all of our internships are based with exactly what you do in a day and extending those activities, not in trying to go outside of the classroom to find an entirely different set of skills, but learning those skills in the classroom, in the school, in your district, having strong mentors within your district. Those are the things that really impact our teachers today and offer that kind of flexibility. We are ranked as the highest online university in Colorado by U.S. News and World. And
wow,
we are 15th in their rankings collectively, but in Colorado we are the highest ranked university, online university in Colorado. And I think that's really huge for our teachers to know that they have the flexibility. We're working on behalf of them, and they have a place with us.
Dr. O'Neill, I have a follow-up question. most of our audience will be teachers and principals who are looking at this, but we also have community members outside of this. We have students who listen to this. What benefits does CSU Global or a degree from CSU Global offer those folks who aren't necessarily looking at a teacher licensure or a principal licensure, that are looking for maybe perhaps what I was looking for?
I'm going to say, first of all, it's open to everyone in every industry. We have so many amazing partnerships, but we really want our high school students to think about CSU Global. We want our community members to think about CSU Global. We have programs, and I think the biggest benefit is one, we are financially affordable. We really are. We are flexible. We can meet your needs. You do not have to quit your job. But you also can come if you are a full-time student. We offer the bachelor's degrees. We offer master's degrees. We offer certificate programs. We have wonderful programming and human resource certificate programs on top of it. We have a lot of systems and tools that support individuals in the path that they're looking for. So when you look at the flexibility, when you look at the affordability, when you look at the fact we offer the bachelor's, master's, and certificate programs, and when you look at just the staff, the faculty, the student counselors, the individuals that want to support your learning journey, I think that sets CSU Global apart, and we have a place for everybody.
Wow. What a message.
Thank you.
I almost want to end the podcast with that message, but I have a final question for you, which is, for the teacher who's listening now, right, bringing it back to our teachers and our principals, for them who are listening to that right now, but they're on the fence, right? We went through this, we had a conversation, they're looking at it, they're thinking about it, but they're still on the fence. What advice would you give them?
I would say it makes a difference. Like that, ultimately, at the end of the day, when you think about your own professional growth, we're educators. We want to know our craft, and we want to know it well. And CSU Global gives you that opportunity to not just know your craft, to fine-tune your craft, to learn more, to extend yourself, to extend that for students. And I think those are the most important things that we can give any learner, whether that's at CSU Global or at DPS. That's what we can give learners, is to have that sense of confidence, pride, all the things that you have as an educator. Again, right, profession upon which all others are built. I think teachers want to grow. We are a place that we will grow with you, for you, and on behalf of you. And we would invite everybody to come.
Dr. O'Neill, I really want to thank you for joining us here today in the DPS studio. What we talked about today is so important, and what an opportunity for our teachers and principals, but for anyone who's looking to further their education and have that understanding on top of the partnership that DPS has with CSU Global. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having us. Thank you for being a student of CSU Global. We just love that. And we look forward to so many more DPS team members collectively joining us at CSU Global. Thanks for the opportunity.
Absolutely. Well, friends and families, that concludes today's DPS Education Podcast. A huge thank you to our guests from CSU Global, Dr. O'Neill, for sharing these opportunities for our educators and for anyone who's looking to further their education. Please help us out by sharing this content and subscribing to our YouTube channel at Denver Public Schools. You can also find us on all of the streaming platforms. Just search for the Denver Public Schools Podcast Network. My name is Javier Ibarra. Thank you for joining us.